Welcome to the concept of break-even analysis. This is practically a kind of study which involves the cost volume profit relationship. In easier words, if we try to understand break-even analysis, it's a particular point at which the organization finds out that it has certainly reached a no profit no loss scenario. Break-even point basically, in short, indicates the organization's no profit no loss point. In other words, we can easily say no profit no loss can easily turned over to another term called total revenue becomes equals to total cost. If we have this particular concept in a simplified way, we can say this is a point at which income or total income for the organization becomes equals to the total cost incurred by the organization. The point is signified by two different manner. What two different manner? If the break even point, if we move further, that means the organization moves into the profit region, and before achieving the break even point, the organization is finding itself in a loss region. So it is very important to understand for the organization how quickly the organization can reach that zero state. If the organization can reach the zero state within a few years of its should I say production or productivity, it is better for the organization to sustain in the market. That is why break-even point analysis or break-even analysis is very much important to the organization. If we now look at the diagram representation of break-even point, we will find that we have the particular fixed cost line which starts with a positive value, and then we have a variable cost line which starts from 0. As we know that variable cost is it's starting from 0, because if there is no product produced, that means variable cost becomes 0. And if we look at the total cost line is practically the summation of variable cost line and fixed cost line. It has the starting point of the fixed cost line but the nature of the variable cost line. Most importantly, the fourth criteria that we need to talk about here is the total revenue line. Total revenue, practically we can suggest total revenue to be a certain kind of multiplication of number of goods sold into per unit selling price. Basically, total revenue or total sales in a certain kind of concept, we are taking it to be equal. So that is what we mean by total revenue, number of units sold into per unit selling price. The point basically at which total revenue line and the total cost line intersects with each other, I have demarcated the point as E. If you see that particular point E, this is our break-even point, that particular E. Now, why break-even point is important? In the previous slide, I have already talked about the area from C to D. If you see in that particular graph, from C to D, at that particular moment, total cost line basically is above total revenue line. So we can easily say total cost is greater than total revenue, which indicates a loss region. But immediately after that particular D point crosses, you will see total revenue line goes above the total cost line. So basically we can easily say total revenue is greater than total cost. So practically that indicates a profit region. If you see now very carefully that C to D, that particular area for an organization we were talking about the loss region, and from that D to the entire part, if we move across that particular axis, we will find that organization is moving towards the profit region. Now here lies the most signifying point of break-even, that it indicates the point at which the organization reaches its no profit no loss scenario. If you see, we had talked about it in the last slide. We will see that the more quicker the organization reaches that particular point, the organization basically moves into the profit region. So class, this is what we mean by the diagram representation of break-even point. Here are a few formulas that we require to solve all kind of break-even point analysis sums. Firstly, as we have mentioned previously, that total cost is basically the summation of variable cost and fixed cost. So practically total variable cost is equals to total cost minus fixed cost, whereas contribution is equals to selling price minus variable cost. So basically, if we multiply that particular contribution and selling price and variable cost into total number of units, then we get total contribution is equals to total sales minus total variable cost. This we need to keep in mind also. Next, the profit is equals to contribution minus fixed cost. So this is how we move from the sales to the profit part. And also, coming back to profit volume ratio, or one of the most important ratio that we will come across in BEP analysis is the profit volume ratio. The formula for profit volume ratio is contribution per unit divided by selling price per unit. If we multiply both the numerator and the denominator with number of units, as we have earlier said, we move back to total contribution divided by total sales. If we now look at the formula for break-even point for output is practically fixed cost divided by contribution per unit, whereas the break-even point for sales formula is practically fixed cost divided by contribution per unit into selling price per unit. Now class, this is one very important formula, as if we multiply the entire figure here with total number of units sold, then fixed cost into total number of units sold will have fixed cost itself, as we know it very well that fixed cost doesn't change with time. So if fixed cost does not change with time, number of units practically have no kind of effect on the fixed cost, but contribution per unit becomes total contribution, and selling price per unit into total number of units sold becomes total sales. So as far as PV ratio goes, PV ratio was total contribution divided by total sales. Here we are just finding the opposite of it. So we can easily transfer the formula for break-even point for sales into fixed cost divided by PV ratio, or fixed cost into 1 by PV ratio. Now, having learned all the theory portion and the formulas used in break-even point, let's start off talking about a few mathematical examples. First, let us consider an easy example to start off with. Let us go through the sum here. A manufacturing of sewing machines has capacity to produce 500 machines per annum, that means per year. The variable cost of each machine is rupees 200, and each machine has a selling price of 250 per unit. Fixed overhead is as rupees 12,000 per annum. So we need to find out the BEP for output and sales. So if we take, now what do we mean by contribution? Contribution is practically sales or total sales minus total variable cost. Now if we divide it, we will find out per unit variable cost is also given, per unit, should I say, the selling price is also given. So contribution per unit will be 50, deducting 250, or sorry, deducting 200 from 250. Now if we find out how to find out break-even point for output, break-even point for output becomes fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. If we put in the figures of fixed cost and contribution per unit, we get the figure of 240 units. And simply doing the same kind of thing fixed cost divided by contribution per unit into selling price per unit gives us the break-even point for sales, which basically turns out to be 60,000 rupees. So students, this is one of the easiest kind of sums which we take into consideration while calculating or how to calculate that particular break-even point. Now, taking into aspect another mathematical example, let's talk about this mathematical example where we can see we have 2 consecutive years sales and profit given to us. 2010 and 2011, the respective sales figures are 1,40,000 and 1,60,000, whereas the respective profit figures are 15,000 and 20,000. What do we need to calculate? We need to calculate the PV ratio. Second one, we need to calculate the sales required to earn a profit of rupees 40,000. And third one, profit when sales figure is at 1,20,000. So coming back to the first point where we need to consider and calculate PV ratio. If we know PV ratio, what is PV ratio? We can say it to be contribution per unit divided by selling price per unit. This was basically the PV ratio formula. But in this case, neither contribution has been given to us and sales figure are also given, 2 figures are given to us. So how to find out PV ratio? If you remember students, we had talked about sales minus variable cost gives us contribution minus fixed cost gives us profit. Now in this case, if fixed cost is not given, one thing we can safely consider or safely assume is that fixed cost doesn't change over time. If fixed cost is not changing over time, then the fixed cost of 2010 and 2011, since here it has not been mentioned that fixed cost will change, we can safely take the fixed cost part to be a constant. If we take the fixed cost part to be a constant, then definitely we can say the profit becomes the contribution. I am one more time repeating it. Sales minus variable cost gives us contribution. Contribution minus fixed cost gives us profit. Now again, taking the fixed cost part constant, we can change contribution into profit. Now if we take that contribution to be profit, then we can safely take that del change of profit divided by del change of sales to be the PV ratio, which ultimately comes back to 5,000 divided by 20,000 1/4, or the PV ratio becomes 25%. If this is the case, the next thing which we need to find out is the sales required to earn a profit of 40,000. Now if we go back to PV ratio, now we can definitely say PV ratio is basically what? Contribution by sales. So contribution is actually fixed cost plus profit. So fixed cost plus profit divided by sales should be the PV ratio. We know the PV ratio now. We can put in the value of 25 by 100. Taking the fixed cost part constant right now, profit is basically, if we take any year, we are taking 2010 as example, I take the profit to be 15,000, which is already given to us, and the subsequent sales which has been given to us is 1,40,000. From here we can easily find out the fixed cost to be at 20,000. If you do the calculation for the 2011 year also, students, in the same particular way, you'll also find out that fixed cost for 2011 will also come at 20,000 only, and the value won't change. Now coming back to the desired sales, now if we just replicate the PV ratio to that with that particular sales position, then practically the desired sales equation becomes fixed cost plus profit divided by PV ratio. we know all the value, and it has been said to earn a profit of 40,000. So now the desired profit moves back to 40,000, from where we get the figure of 2,40,000 by equating it. Now the third part is that profit required when sales is 1,20,000. Now putting in the same kind of formula, 1,20,000 is the desired sales. Fixed cost and PV ratio, we know it pretty, fixed cost and PV ratio will know it pretty well. So profit basically goes back to 10,000. Fixed cost we have already calculated at 20,000. So practically profit will be when sales is 1,20,000 is 10,000. Here I need to remember my students of one thing, that though I have step jumped one or two steps, please kindly show each and every step to get the right kind of marking in your examination. Up to this point of time, students, we have taken into consideration one product to be 1 unit, or we have calculated, or we have learned to calculate all kind of break-even calculation and PV ratio calculation, taking one single product at a time. Now what happens if the organization has more than one product in their kitty? Now when we talk about more than one product in any kind of production or service organization, we talk about, or we transfer the break-even point into composite break-even point. Let us take an example how to calculate the composite PV ratio as well as the composite break-even point, just to understand how things are slightly different from the regular break-even point analysis. If you look at the question here, class, the fixed expense are given to us. Most importantly, contribution per unit is also given to us, where we can see this particular organization has 3 products, as in X, Y and Z, and contribution per unit respectively are 6, 2.5 and 4. Where else, what do we have next? The sales prediction of that particular product, where it says X will be produced or sold 24,000 units a year at 12.5 rupees per unit. Similarly, the figure for Y is 1 lakh units sold at rupees 7 per unit, and for Z is 50,000 units at rupees 10 per unit. Now what we have talked about, as we have mentioned, that we need to find out the composite PV ratio and the composite break-even point. Now if we find out the total sales of the entire 3 products, we can easily find out the total sales. Just multiply the number of units with the number of if we multiply the number of units with the selling price per unit, we are having the total sales. The total sales for X is summating at 3 lakh, Y summating at 7 lakh, Z summating at 5 lakh. So definitely the total sales becomes 15 lakhs. Now let us consider one particular thing, that is how to find out the sales ratio. It is very easy to understand how to find out sales ratio. It is nothing but 3 lakh is to 7 lakh is to 5 lakh, where we find out the sales ratio to be 3 is to 7 is to 5. Now if we go on calculating the PV ratio, the PV ratio composite one will be what is practically what was the normal PV ratio, total contribution divided by total sales. Now here if we find out the total contribution, we have to do what? Contribution per unit has been given us for all the products. We know how many number of products will be produced and sold. If we multiply that subsequently with each other, we can easily get the total contribution. So you see 6 into 24,000 plus 2.5 into 1 lakh and 4 into 50,000. Summating it up, we get 5 lakh 94,000, whereas the total sales has already been calculated at 15 lakh. If we find out the PV ratio basically comes out at 594 by 1500. Now what is break-even point? Break-even point for output break-even point for sales practically means fixed cost by PV ratio. So fixed cost by PV ratio basically means if we put in the figures of fixed cost as 3 lakh and if we put the figure of PV ratio, we multiply the 3 lakh with 1500 and divided it by 594. We get the figure of 757575 approximately, or it turns out to be 7,57,575. Now up to this is that particular sum. Now if we want to find out the individual sales for all those products, how to find out the individual sales for all those products? We have already found out that particular sales ratio. So sales ratio will be very important to find out the individual sales. How? If we multiply that particular break-even point sales with the sales ratio of X, which is 3 by 15, we get the individual sales of X. Similarly, if we take the sales ratio of Y and Z, we will find out that to be respectively 7 by 15 and 5 by 15. If we multiply it with that particular break-even point sales, we will find out the individual sales of X, Y and Z. I have shown you how to calculate the individual sales of X. Try to calculate the individual sales of Y and Z also in your leisure time. Now coming back to the limitations of this particular concept of break-even point. First and foremost, the major limitation of break-even point is that here we take the cost line and the revenue line to always be represented by a straight line, or the change is particularly constant. But in real life scenario or in any organizational scenario, that cannot happen. The change cannot always be linear. So that has not been taken care about in the concept of break-even point. Another similar kind of limitation is there. Not all variable costs generally increase directly with output. It cannot happen. As linear the output will increase, as similarly the variable cost cannot increase at the same kind of pace. That is bound to change after a certain point of time, which break-even point generally does not take into consideration. Now, in this particular concept of break-even point, we have always taken into consideration that all costs are either fixed cost or variable cost. We have not taken the concept of semi-variable cost, but that particular concept of semi-variable cost is very important for the organization. But how to handle or how to calculate how the graph will change taking semi-variable cost into aspect has not been explained in the the concept of break-even analysis. Most importantly, here one major assumption has been taken that whatever output generated by the organization will all be sold. No single item, no single product will be retained by the organization, maybe at the end of stipulated period. The retaining of that particular product is basically the stocking, is the concept of stocking. There is no single concept of stocking in break-even point analysis. It absolutely assumes that all product will be sold in the market, which definitely at a certain point of time is not true. The last but not the least is the fixed cost. Here we do not consider the fixed cost will change, but there are thousands of live examples where after a certain output level the fixed cost is bound to change for the organization. But here in the concept of break-even point, the change of fixed cost is deliberately omitted from the concept. So in short, these are the major limitations of the concept of break-even point otherwise of these limitations, which is a very important concept or very important point for the organization.